All right, we can get started. I think, Natalie, if you think, and I guess students join.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, we've got the recording. So, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon or this morning, depending on where in the world you are. It could be the evening as well, I guess. My name is Sara Morato, and I am the Assistant Director for Education Abroad at Kent State University. And I am very excited and happy to spend part of my morning with all of you talking about our joint program with Anglo-American University, the Global Degree Program. And I'll let the other panelists introduce themselves.
So guys, hi, looks like I'm next in line. My name is Natalie, and I'm with the admissions team at Anglo-American University here in sunny-ish Prague. It's actually, well, good morning to all of you. It's actually afternoon for me, about 3:36 in the afternoon. And we're looking forward to having a couple more participants come, but we're glad whoever's here is here and willing to listen.
That's right. And good morning, everyone. I'm Ellie Stiles from Kent State University, and I'm a senior international admissions counselor. So yes, welcome today. And it's going to be an exciting time. And I know that if I was 18, this is definitely something I would go for. You know, you can't really beat Prague and you can't beat Ohio. So there you go. We've got two great venues and a wonderful program and a great degree.
Absolutely. So we'll go ahead and get started. I will start by apologizing if you hear some barking. That is my 5-month-old puppy that is outside playing and just loves to bark. So hopefully he will not interrupt us, but if you do, just enjoy his bark, I guess.
And Sarah, mine is 7 months old, so I also apologize.
All right, so just a brief overview of what is the Global Degree Program. As I said, it is a partnership between AAU, Anglo-American University, and us, Kent State University. It allows students from anywhere in the world, really, to be able to participate if they decide to enroll in this degree. And there are three pathways, three majors in which students can select from. And then we'll get into the actual, what those each major and concentration will look like. But essentially, you have options in computer information systems, computer science, and emerging media and technology. The really cool thing about this program, as what Ellie was saying earlier, is that students will have the opportunity to spend their first 2 years at Anglo-American University in Prague in the Czech Republic. And then upon completion of those first 2 years, then for the last 2 years, they will come to Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. And overall, you will end up earning a Kent State degree. So you spend 2 years in the Czech Republic, 2 years at Kent, Ohio, and then you earn your Kent State degree. All of the courses will be taught in English, and they will be offered in a semester format. So you will have different courses for each semester. Once the students are also admitted to the program, they will take part of a curriculum that is going to prepare them to complete this degree within 4 years, or at least that's our hope. Additionally, students will have the opportunity to immerse themselves in a multicultural environment at one of the most international universities in Europe, Anglo-American University, at one of the top public universities in the United States, Kent State. You will also have the opportunity to learn from a global perspective, as you will be with peers from more than 100 countries. And then you are going to be able to be positioned yourself for a career in the world marketplace as well. So as I said, there are 3 degrees, 3 overall majors, but within those majors, there are a couple different bachelors of arts or bachelor of science, as well as different concentrations that students can select from. So we have our Bachelor of Business Administration in Computer Information Systems. There is a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. You also have a Bachelor of Arts in Computer Science, a Bachelor of Science in Emerging Media and Technology with a minor in User Experience Design, and a Bachelor of Science in Emerging Media and Technology with a minor in Web Development. Now, if you're not sure which one you would want to start with, that is not a problem. Your first 2 years at AAU, your curriculum is going to be essentially the same for all of these 5 pathways. So you could say, maybe I want to start in computer information systems, but then within the first semester, you decide that maybe you want to go more into emerging media and technology. That is completely fine. Those full 2 years are going to allow you to pick whichever one. And so once you come to Kent for the final 2 years, at that point, we will probably encourage you to have an idea as to which degree you're going to be seeking so that you can just complete and finalize those final 2 years. So I'm sure you're all wondering, okay, so this is great, it all sounds good, but how do I go about applying for this program? So the first step is that you have to complete your high school program. So once you are a high school graduate, you would go ahead and log in into our online application at Kent State. And from there, you will have to submit your high school transcripts. If they're not in English, we ask you to please get those translated. You would also need to meet the minimum English proficiency requirements for the admissions into Kent State University. These are just a couple of the main English proficiency requirements that we accept. So if you have a TOEFL, IELTS, MELAT, PTE, but we are also accepting other forms. Currently, we also accept Duolingo. And so just keep checking our website to see updates for that as to what are other English proficiency requirements. Once you complete the online application, there's a fee that you would pay for completing that application. You submit your English proficiency requirement, you submit your English transcripts translated if they need to be. Then you would complete what we call our Kent State application, and then we will review that, and then you will be accepted into Kent State. Upon being accepted into Kent State, you will receive an email from me with sort of like an explanation as to what are the next steps and what will happen after your acceptance. There will be another application that you will need to complete through our Study Abroad platform, because essentially once you are in this program, you are all Kent State students that are studying abroad your first 2 years at Anglo-American University. So we will have you complete that study abroad application. And built into that study abroad application, there will be things like information about the housing for AAU, and a couple other important materials for you to read and acknowledge that you understand. After that, you will start receiving more information from AAU regarding like the visa process, more about the cost of living and things of that sort. You spend your first 2 years. We will make sure that you're always connected to Kent State, but also we want you to enjoy and be connected to AAU. And then once you complete your 2 years, we will start again sending you information about how to go about applying for your US visa so that you can come back and finish your last 2 years at Kent.
Hey, Sarah, just to clarify, students don't have to complete high school to apply, but they need to have completed high school to start the program. Just it's not like you have to be done with high school before you can even apply, but just to clarify that.
Thank you, Ellie. Yeah, that is correct. So if there are any high school students that are going to be finishing up this May, June, you can start the application. Just make sure that once you're done with your high school, you send us your finalized transcripts. Thank you. That is very accurate. For the cost of the program, I have broken it down into how much it will be while you're AAU for the 2 years, how much it will be while you are at Kent State. So as you can see, there are a couple of fees that are going to be every semester sort of thing. So the program or administrative fee, that is $250. We will bill that to your Kent State Bursars account. So there's going to be a couple things that will bill there, and then you will pay from there. International health insurance, that will be paid directly to the provider in the Czech Republic, so you'll pay that. Your tuition and housing, the housing will be paid directly to AAU. Tuition will be charged through your Kent State Bursars. Living expenses and book supplies, those are just estimates. They could be higher, they could be lower, and I'm sure Natalie will talk a little bit more about the actual cost of living in the Czech Republic, in Prague specifically, so you can kind of like get an idea from there. Once you come to Kent for your final 2 years, your health insurance is a little bit more expensive. Your tuition will be also a bit more expensive. There's opportunity for on-campus housing. And if you live on campus, you also have to partake in the meal plan, or you don't have to, you can have that option. Living expenses and book supplies as well. And there are a couple other fees. So the $60 application fee, that is for the when you do the application for study abroad, and obviously the Czech and US visa. Right now, that is what the cost is. But again, we will provide you with more information as we get closer to the date, because these are subject to change monthly, yearly, depending on what that is. I'm going to stop there for now. I see that there's a couple raised hands, and so we're going to ask you to for two things. If you want to type your question in the Q&A or save it until the end, we will allow for room for questions at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to move on to Natalie so she can talk about Prague, and we'll go from there.
Sarah. And everyone knows I love to talk about Prague. So here's just sort of my intro slide. You can see on the left one of our classrooms. We have 17 well-equipped classrooms. The next slide is Prague, and it's sort of the Prague Castle you can see in that slide. We're at the foot of the Prague Castle, and you can see all the way on the far right one of our study sessions. So then, again, well, thank you, anyone who joined later. Thanks for being here. I'm Natalie. I'm from Anglo-American University in Prague. We thank you guys for your interest. And we hope that you choose our program because Prague is beautiful, as you can see from my second slide as well. So we're located right in Prague. Sorry, can we go to the one before, Sarah? Sorry. So we're located in Prague in the Czech Republic. We're right at the foot of the Prague Castle. We're known as the city of 100 spires, which is the towers. You can kind of see in that right photo there. When you look at the bridges and the towers, it's just a wonderful view of Prague. It's very small, Prague, very metropolitan. At the same time, very accessible and a very European city. You can be anywhere within a couple of hours. I always like to say, you know, in Vienna, Austria, you can be there in 4 hours from Prague. So think about your weekends, right? You can be in Poland in 3 hours, and you can be skiing in the Alps in about 6 hours. So it's a wonderful, wonderfully central location. Trains run all the time. And so yes, that's our beautiful Prague. So next slide, please. So why Prague? So we are one of the top 10 best student cities in the entire world. The very first university ever was actually founded in Prague in 1348. It's the Charles University. And since then, Prague has remained a very student-focused city, actually. So the 5th best public transport in the world. It's cheap, quick, and very reliable. When you come to Prague, you get an ISIC card. And with that card, you get a discount on your Metro Pass, which lets you use the tram, the metro, the bus system all throughout Prague. You can actually be from one end of Prague to the other end of Prague within 30 minutes. It's very accessible, very doable. You do not need a car in Prague, which is one of the benefits I see. Another thing is we have a very low unemployment rate. So if anyone's looking for a part-time job while they study, it's very easy to find a job. With a Czech visa, you can work for 20 hours a week and kind of supplement, you know, your budget here in Prague. So we're the 6th safest city in the world, which is great. Like I said before, our major crime is pickpocketing, so thank goodness. So if you're careful, Prague is very safe. So just to let your parents know. So you can walk around Prague in a day. You can just get lost and just in the beautiful city. So it's also incredibly affordable. For example, you can get a steak dinner for $8. You can go to the theater for $6. So other European cities may not be as affordable, but Prague is extremely affordable. Okay, my next slide is our learning environment. There we go. You can see our small class sizes. We basically have about maximum 25 students per class, but truthfully, it's about 10 to 15 when you're really there. on a daily basis. We have a very personalized approach. So this means that the instructors are going to know you by name. You're not going to be a number. It's a very quaint learning environment, I have to say. And so like I said before, we have 17 well-equipped classrooms, and you look out the window and you know you're in Prague. The cafe, we have a cafe downstairs. It's called Cafe de Texas, and it's always bustling and full of students, just chatting, having a coffee. They've got great food. It's kind of in lieu of our cafeteria. They've got great warm meals, and our wonderful two Irishmen, Kieran and Bill, are happy to serve the best cappuccino in town. Okay. I think it's the best cappuccino in town. So we have a computer lab as well, to which you have access. And so our students are basically from the US. We are very diverse. We also have the Czech Republic students and post-Soviet students. So they're basically students from 80 countries all over the world. So it's very diverse as well. So the next slide, you can see our building. That's right. So on the top left-hand corner is our gorgeous library. Our library actually houses the largest English language book collection in all of Europe. So you'll find wonderful English language books, and it's gorgeous if you can see the ceiling there in that slide. It's just really wonderful. So on the right side, you just have our hallways. On the left corner, on the bottom, you can see one of our classrooms, and you'll actually be learning in one of these classrooms. So it's gorgeous. The bottom right is Vojanovi Sady. It's a little park that's actually connected to the courtyard of our university. Our students use it, and you can find our students there all the time, just having coffee during their breaks, chatting, having sessions outside when it gets nice and warm. So our next slide, you can see kind of the array of our student life and our resources. We've got an academic tutoring center in case someone's having problems with classes. You can book time slots of 30 minutes. And basically the sessions are held in the library, the photo that we saw before. The Career Center, they'll help you find a part-time job if you need one. The Lenin Wall is a magazine, both online and print, and it's actually completely run by our students. We have also Soundbricks Radio, which is our radio that's broadcast 24 hours a day. And it's programmed and run by our students as well. So those are some things to get involved in. We also have our student services that help you out with your ISIC card and anything that's necessary, and also psychological counseling, which is important, I think, of course, when you're moving cities and states and countries even, just for adjustment. So you know that help is available as well. So the next slide is our 7th slide, and it's the Debate and Learn. So I'll just talk about the Professors in the Pub. It's our most popular event at AAU, basically. We get together in the Cafe Texas. You can see that in the cafe, and we talk about current topics such as the Me Too movement, populism, right now, COVID. You get together with professors and you ask them questions and they chat about their experiences. You have a different topic every time, and it's a very relaxed environment just to kind of have a chat and talk about current events. Art exhibits are also a part of the semester and organized every semester. And it's just where our art students can showcase their work. And it's usually in the Cafe Texas as well. So the next one is our clubs, slide 8. So our clubs and our connections. So currently we've got, you can see a bunch of our clubs listed with like a basketball club, Model UN, football, business, rock climbing, film club, yoga club, martial arts. So basically at AAU, you have to have 3 students to form a club, and you have to have the approval of our student council. Our student council is chosen by election, and they represent our student body. So if you and 2 others have an interest in something, anything, you're welcome to form a club here at AAU. So the next slide is housing. So yeah, for the duration of your stay, you can live at AAU housing, which we do recommend to our students because we have so many students living there, and it's just the hallways are full of our students, and there are shared kitchens. So it's really a great way to meet the other students that are in your classes with you if you haven't met them already. It's very close to campus. It's about 20 minutes by tram ride. It's in a really hip neighborhood called Holešovice. Yeah, it's a very hip and upcoming neighborhood with lots of restaurants around. It's wonderful. So you can either have a single or a shared room, and there's kitchens and laundry facilities, Wi-Fi, and it's routinely cleaned, and there's a 24-hour staff. So it's very safe as well. And I would say the majority of our students actually do live there until they branch out and maybe find an apartment with friends. So the next slide will be my last slide, actually, and that's the cost of living. So we discussed a little bit before, but in total, you're looking at about $800 to $1,000 a month, which is meals, accommodation, public transport, and entertainment. So, well, assuming you're not, assuming that you want to eat out every meal, this might be different for you. If you are a real gourmet, this might change, kind of be on the upside for you. But assuming that you're fine just having a standard meal, you can even cut costs here. So housing is about $500 a month. In the housing we just talked about, Zeitraum, it's called. And then part-time jobs, of course, you can make up to $300 to $700 per month, and you can work up to 20 hours a week. So that's good that you can supplement as well, you know, what you need to supplement. So that's about it for Prague. If you guys have any questions at the end or want to chat any questions about Prague or living here, I've been here for 25 years, so I think we'll be pretty good at answering. Thanks, guys. I guess I'm going to pass it to Ellie.
Good morning, good evening again, everybody. This is Ellie from Kent State University. And thanks for joining us. And, you know, this is being recorded, so we can share it with any of your friends if you ask, those that couldn't make it. So because we're that thrilled about the program and we think everybody should know about it. So I'll just do a little bit about Kent State. So as you can see from the slide, we are located in Ohio, which we call the Midwest. I'm not quite sure, because to me it looks like more like Mideast. But so Ohio is it's near the Great Lakes. It has all 4 seasons, so it is gorgeous. Right now it's sunny, and today actually it's in April, and it's going to be 80, which is exceptionally warm. But it does have all 4 seasons, my favorite being fall. The city of Kent is known as Tree City, so it is gorgeous, green, and then so, you know, come fall, the trees are absolutely just awesome, fantastic. So it's about a half hour from the airport and 45 minutes from the further away airport, which is in Cleveland, which does have all their major sporting events and teams. And about an hour flight from New York City, about 6-hour drive to Chicago. So we're within big cities, but we are not a big city. We consider ourselves a college town. Next slide. So here's a picture of our downtown Kent area, which we're very proud of. As Natalie mentions, you know, kind of this up and coming hip area. It's been totally revamped. We have what's called the town and gown. So we have the gown being Kent State University for graduates, and the town being the city of Kent. So we have that symbiotic relationship with downtown and the city and the safety. So it's a wonderful place, 5-minute walk off of our campus, and you're in entertainment and food and shopping and you name it. Next slide. Just a few things to do in Ohio. We have one of the largest, highest roller coasters in the world, about an hour and a half from here, if you're into that. We have Amish country about an hour from here, which is beautiful rolling hills in Midwest or mid-Ohio. And within probably a 15-minute drive, you've got the gorgeous park system, as you can see on the upper left, our beautiful, beautiful Brandywine waterfall. And there's shopping in Cleveland, which is the upper right, West Market. So cool. We go there like once a year, but it's about a 45-minute drive, but there are buses up to Cleveland if you want. So lots of things to do in Ohio. So it's not just a college town, a little college town, nothing around it. There's certainly lots of things to do. Next slide. So Kent does have, it's a huge campus. We have 8 campuses, which does include our Florence, Italy campus, which is Kent State staff, building, tuition. So we pride ourselves on our Florence campus, but you're already going to be studying abroad. So coming to Ohio, you may not study abroad again, but if you do, hey, you're very worldly and global. So we have As you can see, wide variety of student body. There's Flash in the middle. That's our mascot, if you will. So again, you can see we have lots of students here, about 38,000 students in all from many, many different countries, about 100 right about now. Next slide. Just a little bit about student life and services. We have 25 residence halls, 11 dining halls, 3 actual grocery stores, and Starbucks on campus. Now, you would be coming as juniors in theory, so you wouldn't have to live on campus, although you could if you wanted, but it's often less expensive to live off campus. So there's plenty of off-campus living, and you probably will connect with some folks from Prague that are coming back here, and you can, you could have automatic roommates, right? So it's very cost of living efficient. Where we are in Ohio is about 10% less than the cost of living in the rest of the country, which is very, very nice, makes it very affordable. The bus system does run 24/7. We have Walmarts nearby, grocery stores nearby. The bus runs 24/7, and the library's open, all hours. So if you want to ride from here and there or everywhere, all hours of the day and night, you can certainly do that. The slide on the right is our newer architecture building. That's one of the majors that we pride ourselves on. We integrated into the landscape, and as you can see, that brick pathway, we call it the Esplanade. It does connect the university campus to our downtown Kent area. Next slide. More student life. We've got, a rec center with 8 basketball courts, 2 swimming pools, yoga, spinning, rock climbing, kayaking, you name it. If you want to get physical, this is the place to do it. And of course, we all want to stay healthy. Lots of stuff going on entertainment-wise, festivals. We have, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh, about the Division I sports. That's very active with our baseball and basketball and soccer, women's soccer and gymnastics, golf, all kinds of sports. So if you're not going to actually be an athlete per se, then you could just participate, or you can for free. And then also you could create teams, intramural teams of any sports that you want to do. That's certainly a thing. Esports. So esports team is a video sports, and it's actually competitive with other schools, which, a lot of students nowadays, they like the electronic video stuff. Next slide. So Kent State prides ourselves in a special accreditation. We are the 25th safest campus in the US, which is pretty good out of 4,300. And right now we are doing some in-person classes. We are hoping and praying, and so I'm sure Prague is too, AAU, that we are all in person in the fall, spot on. If you want online classes, that's great. You can take some of those, but we're hoping to be face-to-face, everything's full bore, fun activity, on campus to bring the campus alive again. It's been pretty quiet the last year. So let's say I'm at it's midterms and I'm at the library and it's midnight, and I want an escort to my dorm. It is a safe campus, but you still don't walk alone, especially as a female, maybe. So you just pick up your phone, give them the call, and they'll walk you to, escort you wherever you want on campus. Flash alerts. Well, now that we're at home, it doesn't have the same value it did, because we used to get, calls at 5 in the morning going, oh, you don't have to come into work because there's a foot of snow on the ground. But, it really doesn't matter now. We're here at work no matter what. So there's an upside, downside to that, but it is a nice way to say if there's anything going on campus, any safety issues that people need to be aware of. We try to keep everybody very transparent, everybody informed about everything. Next slide. So academic and career-wise, small classes, as Natalie was saying, about 56% do have 20 students or less. 70% of our faculty have the highest degree in their field, which is pretty impressive. So, if you want you're paying for an education, you want the best, right? From the most learned people. We do have what's called required academic advising. So what was happening years ago is students were not, here's your degree, here's your what you need to do, this is the path you're on, and they weren't paying attention to it and taking 5 years to graduate. Well, this is we put a hold on your student account, so you're not going to get away with anything. So what happens is we put a hold on the student account. They come to see the advisor. The advisor says, okay, now in your computer science degree, you should be taking X, Y, Z, no, PT, PQ, whatever. So then you know what to take. You've been told, we release the hold, you schedule for your classes. So it makes it very, straightforward. We want everybody to, graduate in the proper amount of time. So research. So we are a huge research university, whether it's undergrad or grad. And also number 5, as you can see, patents in the US. So patents being somebody's developed something, created something, and this product or whatever, this invention, this research, they want to patent it so nobody can copy it. So big research university. Next slide. So academic and career-wise, as you can see, many libraries on campus. We have academic success, as Natalie says, all kinds of writing commons, tutoring, you're having issues. You could even be a tutor as far as working on campus those 20 hours. That could be one of your jobs, to help others, conversation partners for people that are maybe learning English, or maybe people that want to learn other languages. So we have advising, as I did mention. So the master's and graduate students would have faculty advisors, but you as undergrad would have the academic advisors that are assigned to that college. Just an ESL program, little plug for our ESL program, which you wouldn't be needing because you would have already met the English proficiency by starting the program. So STEM, I know that's an important option for someone, but with your, and I'm not sure if any of the computer classes or emergent technology are STEM myself, I'm not sure, but that's something we could certainly, Ed Abroad could certainly answer that if you want to email them. Next slide. All kinds of student organizations, you name it, as Natalie says, if we don't have it, you can create it. So these are just some of the areas that we do have that are the organization. So there's a varied amount and type of organization. So you're never going to be bored on campus. And as I tell all students, you want to take advantage of everything a university has to offer, because that's what you're paying for. Don't, in your senior year and it's, April, oh, I never really did go to that event or that concert or join that club that may now help my degree or a networking opportunity. Take advantage, full advantage of everything that we have to offer. Same with the AAU. So take advantage of everything. That's why you're here. This is the only time in your life, really, when you're at university, that you're going to have this freedom and independence and be able to take advantage of all these wonderful opportunities that we have here at Kent and AAU. Next slide. So I know you can read this, but within 6 months of graduation, 92% of our graduates are employed or continuing their education. And that's a good thing. So Kent State has about 300 majors and all the way through PhD, but obviously you have your majors that you would be, getting your degree with the AAU Global Degree Program. So next slide. But, if you did want to go beyond your bachelor's here at Kent, you can do that in a master's or a PhD program. Lots of opportunities, computer science, PhDs, artificial intelligence. That's a huge one here at Kent State. So here's our scholarships. They would vary because you would be coming to Kent as juniors. So I'm just speaking to Kent State, by the way, but you would get the global scholarship, which right now is about $4,400 a year for 4 years. In your case, it would be 2 years. So that certainly would help offset, that some of the out-of-state tuition you might be paying or that health insurance. And then, also once, the athletic probably would not apply to you, but maybe a graduate assistantship would if you decide to go on further into your education. But also as a Kent State student, I come in August of my junior year. Well, prior to that, let's say February, as a sophomore, even though you're in Prague, you can be researching scholarships at Kent State in the computer science programs, because we have scholarship monies available to students, but you already have to be in that particular program. And maybe you have to write an essay or such, I'm not sure. But then you could have an additional scholarship for your junior and senior years, which is, definitely helps, right? Next slide. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, I know there were a few at the beginning that I did answer about English. Again, Sarah did mention about what's the English proficiencies that we do take and what those scores are. And you can also email Ed Abroad if you have any further questions. Team, did you have any other comments or?
Well, I just want to say one thing, and I'm just floored by Kent State. I've never seen the presentation, the campus in such detail. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really, it is. I know where my kids are going to go. I know what degree my kids are going to have.
That's right. You bet.
It's easy.
That's right.
I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen now so that I can have access to seeing chats and questions that they might have been popping. So
yeah, we answered a few questions that came up during the chat. But yeah, if anyone has any other questions, we're all happy to answer.
This will be the time for you all to ask any questions that you might have for this program. You can raise your hand, you can type them in the chat, in the Q&A, whatever is easier. I can tell you that as an international student myself, I've been here in the Kent area for almost 18 years now, and it's super beautiful. As Ellie said, those 4 seasons that we get, it is very true. I'm originally from Bolivia, and all I know is warm weather. So just being able to see the leaves changing and then actually have snow and be able to do snow sports, it's just it's amazing. It's really unbelievable. So beautiful, beautiful place. I can't say enough about Prague as well. Beautiful city, lots of things to do. So I think that this is a great opportunity for anyone that would want to participate. As Ellie mentioned too, if you have any questions, you can email us at edabroad@kent.edu. That's edabroad@kent.edu. We're happy to answer any questions. We hope that after this presentation, many of you really consider having this as a degree that you might want to pursue. We are hopeful and we are looking forward to starting this in the fall of 2021. The application deadline for this program for fall 21 is going to be May 1st. And so we are a little bit short of a month away from that. So as you're thinking and planning for it, keep that in mind, that deadline is coming up. All right, seems like we did a really good job, I guess.
We answered all questions
for us.
Yeah, so like we said, I'll right now just put, it's for any questions pertaining to Prague anyway, and our campus, it's admissions@aauni.edu, and I'll just put that in the chat now for anyone that wants to write that down. Prague specific questions about our university, if you guys have any questions. So I see a question from an attendee, whether we're planning in-person learning from September in Prague. We would love to. We're waiting on government restrictions, just like at Kent State. We're waiting for the government to lift the restrictions, and our goal is to start as soon as possible. We are providing online learning at the moment, but it's our hope and goal and everybody's. I guess everybody's tired of online learning, but some people, I think, really do like it. It's sort of mixed, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I think we're all ready to get back in person, but yeah, now that we've had this kind of comfortable, But I agree. I think that I was talking to a chemistry professor yesterday, and he said, I have a very large general chemistry class. So, you're going to have a lot of students because a lot of people have to take that class. He said, being online, it's just not the same thing. You can't have any relationships or, gain any of that. So we're hoping and praying that, yes, we have at least a lot more classes in person. So Kent State is preparing for that in their logistically and infrastructure with spacing, and we're going out into areas and buildings we wouldn't normally have classes in, just anticipating if we are in person, that we're distanced, just, because maybe just for general health reasons. So we are definitely preparing that, on campus physically. So
I just see a question here about the student visa process. The visa for the Czech Republic, it takes a while, and especially now because of COVID restrictions. So we're saying definitely to apply mid to end May, closer to the beginning of May, just to be on the safe side. It could be faster, it could be slower, but this is kind of the ballpark that we're telling our students, and that seems to be working.
And just to piggyback on that, Natalie, to make clear for the students, so to be able to apply for the Czech visa, though, you have to be admitted in the program, and then AAU will help you and assist you with a couple other documents that you might need to present at the embassy or consulate of your country to be able to apply for the visa. So, make sure that you are touching base with us as to what those requirements will be. I know that for US citizens, when applying for student visas, they require you to have housing all set. So that will be one of the things that you are going to want to make sure that you've got your housing set up with AAU as well. So keep that in mind. Absolutely. We're trying to have you guys do it early, but there's kind of like, a couple of steps before you get to that visa stuff as well.
Exactly. Yep.
Emily has a question for first 2 years at Prague, and then at Kent would also apply to journalism and communications degree. No, Emily, this program is just specifically for the computer information systems, the computer sciences, and the emerging media technology majors. It's just specifically for those. So journalism and communication are not part of this global degree.
Although they certainly could go as a study abroad, correct? Like a semester?
Absolutely. So, depending on if you are a current US student or a Kent State student, you could participate on a study abroad to AAU if you're a communication and journalism major. I guess you could also do it differently. Like if you are at AAU, they do have other study abroad opportunities as well. So you could also do it, from AAU to somewhere in Europe or the US. In an AAU undergraduate program takes 3 years versus 4 years in the US. Is there some differences?
Yeah, so our degrees, an AAU degree, that's kind of outside of the realm of the global degree program. But yes, our undergraduate degrees take 3 years, but they're programmed differently and they're set differently. So yeah, we do have a different approach because a lot of our core classes are already taken. And so we kind of, have a different learning trend. But yes, but the global degree is 2 years in Prague and 2 years at Kent State.
Correct, yeah. And we had another question that just came in about the tuition, and we'll make sure, Diana, that we share that with you. I'll type it for you so you can have that as we did go over that. But is this program available for second, third year students at AAU?
Yeah, that's a question. If you're already a third year student at AAU, it would probably be more like a study abroad. If you wanted to go to Kent State, it would be more an exchange type of situation, because the program, the global degree program is set so that you have a certain number of credits and semesters, and it's already a preset degree, if you will.
Right. So it will be as if you're doing another degree, 4 more years of a degree. So the other thing, if you're interested in this area, Diana, would be to maybe look at the opportunity of a master's program. we have lots of those at Kent as well. So we're happy to have you as a master's student if that's something that you would be interested in pursuing in something of that degree in that area.
Also, just a quick, once you do apply at Kent State, if we have all the documents, you would be notified within a week if you're admitted. And that's if you have a 2.5 out of 4.0 GPA in your high school, which we calculate ourselves, then we could admit you within a week and you would get notification with your email, you know.
Thank you for that, Ellie, because we also, as soon as we get your documents, we have a very quick turnaround time between Kent State and ourselves. Once you've applied and we get your documents, it's very quick to be admitted. So, you know, just everybody's in time for visa and everything at the moment. So yes, it's all very doable. So anybody have any other questions? I think we put both of our contact emails in the chat.
Mhm.
So do feel free to write if you forgot something, can think about it later this evening. And
Yes, thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate the same number of people that are here that started. Wow.
that's always
We
good.
we at least kept you entertained enough. So we hope to hear from you and see some global degree applications for this exciting program.
Yes, thank you for joining us and hope to have some of you be part of this program.
Definitely. Glad to see you.
Have a good day.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.